especially for yours. I mean, yours is like there's different level of baldness. Yours goes all the way down to the behind your ears, like it's down to here. So,
but why does it sound so mean when you say it?
It's not mean. I'm just saying, like your genetic factor is aggressive.
It's weird. Normally it doesn't bother me, but when you talk about it like that, it's kind of annoying.
I'm just messing with you guys. I'm balding. I'm gonna look like him too. Can you take it off? Because I want to see what I look like in the future. Okay. Where's the closest building? No, I'm just joking. What's up, AJ?
That was just
hey, Thomas lost weight and now he feels great, huh?
Bro,
he's getting confident.
It's not the
We're
1
not
inch
gonna
anymore.
talk about
It's
like
2 inch
he looks great, bro. He looks great.
Fantastic.
You know what he was telling me? I think I look great, man. You know, trying to get the muscles back.
Yeah, you don't look pale at all. You look healthy.
Thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. You look healthy too.
I know. I'm trying to grow my hair.
I love you, bro. I miss you. How you been? Oh, you're right there. Sorry. AJ, listen, we haven't done this in a while. There's been a lot of crazy shit going on in the world, and
why are you crying though?
It's just been sad, bro. It's been really sad. Yeah.
Is it so?
But
you're emotional a little bit.
I'm emotional about hair loss. That's what the problem is, and I feel really bad for somebody like you that has fully given up.
Bald is the new sexy. How many times have I told you?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the line "bald is the new sexy" is people that just have no choice.
No, I think we should do a poll and ask a lot of people, women specifically, if they think bald is sexy.
Oh, bro, don't do that.
Why not?
You do. The poll will be really bad on your side.
Okay, hold on. I need all our followers
in the comments. Let us know.
In the comments, is bald the new sexy? Let us know. We'll go from there.
Yeah, listen, don't get me wrong, bro. Our whole family has gone bald. I'm going bald. Everyone's going bald. But if you had a choice to have hair, you would have hair. You just don't have the choice.
I don't think so. I have a choice.
That's like a person that gains weight and says, it's big boy season. Every girl likes big boys.
No, but no, that's different.
You just haven't worked out and you've been eating bad.
No, that's different. That's different. Honestly, that's different. Because there's some people that prefer, it's kind of like a type of food. Some people prefer Asian or Thai versus Greek, for example. It's just different style. Weight gain and weight loss is completely different.
There's girls that like big guys and there's girls that like small guys.
Yeah, but the majority of other girls like regular, skinnier guys. Okay.
Well, the topic is hair loss. And we're not arguing. Look, bro, I don't have the thickest hair in the world either. Like, that's not the argument.
Yeah, but see, I could always get a hair transplant if I wanted to. Then I'll have hair.
We can talk about that. Let's talk about that. So let's talk about some causes of hair loss. So today's topic, guys, is going to be hair loss. And AJ is the key factor, right? So
why am I the key factor?
Just take off your hat while I talk to you.
Fine.
With respect. Thank you. Okay. AJ, honestly, did you ever try anything? It looks funny as shit.
I hate you so much right now.
All right, sorry. Put your hat back on.
Okay, fine.
Real quick, going back to hair loss. Let's talk about some of the topics. As you guys know, we haven't recorded in a while, so this is first topic back. What am I saying exactly? Back. I have no idea what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Right
You're stuttering.
I'm sorry.
You were feeling dizzy earlier, honestly. I don't know why. You've been working out. You've been eating good. You look good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You have good days and bad days.
Really?
Yeah.
You've been having a lot more good days than
I've been having good days until the camera's turned on and all of a sudden it's a bad day.
The question is,
let's get into it.
Like hair loss. Is there a way to prevent it realistically?
I mean, there's always ways to prevent it. And hair loss is such a big topic now. Everywhere you go on TikTok, on Instagram, every single person wants to know about hair loss. Because again, AJ, back in the day, there was really not many things that helped hair loss.
Yeah.
But I think people need to understand the difference between preventing hair loss and treating hair loss. There's a big difference. Like,
I agree.
Okay, so what is the biggest cause of hair loss? It's genetic, right?
Yeah.
So if your whole family is bald, you're going to go bald.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
most likely you're going to go bald.
Yeah.
And if it gets to a point where you're pretty much 90% bald, using biotin, rosemary,
vitamins,
finasteride, minoxidil, all of those things might not really work for you, where your only option is a hair transplant, whether it's a FUT, FUE, or DHI. One of the options are, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
But what I always suggest is starting off with things like biotin, vitamin D, vitamin B12,
But do you recommend that for people who have a slight like hair loss?
Slight,
not
very,
like full blown bald like me.
Full bald, like on a serious note, somebody like you in your situation, I would recommend a hair transplant.
Yeah, of course.
I really don't think finasteride and biotin and minoxidil is going to be, beneficial for you because you've already lost most of your hair follicles and they're pretty much dead. I mean, again, there's different ways to treat it. But I think for you, even when you do the minoxidil and the finasteride, you're not going to get what you're looking for. Even if your hair's a little bit thicker than it normally is, it's not what you're looking for. Everybody wants a full set of hair.
Yeah,
that's why you see these people with the glue. Have you seen the people with the glue?
I've seen them on TikTok.
And the toupee. The toupees have come along. Like, they're not like the previous one, like a dead animal. No, they look good.
What about that powder that people used to use, like that black powder, Topic? Is that what it is? That's pretty popular too, because I see a lot of people sell that stuff.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Back in the day, I used a little bit of Topic.
I know that. That's
for like specific events. I know you didn't want to say it, but it's okay. It's nerve-wracking, and I'm gonna go talk to the camera, guys. If you are using Topic, I was one of those people. It's very stressful because let's say you're going to a wedding, right? You put Topic, your hair looks thick, you feel great. You park and it starts raining, okay? Disaster, guys. Don't do it. It's happened to me before. And you're walking, everyone's like, hey, what's that black stuff dripping on your head? And you forgot that you put Topic. Don't use Topic unless it's absolutely needed and you know it's not going to rain and you're not going to get it wet. I've gone to pool parties where people like beg me to jump in and they push me in and then all of a sudden the pool's black. Don't use Topic unless it's, again, like you really need it. It's for a photo shoot, whatever it is. I think if you're just starting out to thin, people need to understand it. It's like gardening, right? With gardening, you need sun, you need water, you need vitamins, you need nutrients, you need specific what you plant it in. Those are all important things. Same thing with a hair follicle. It needs blood supply. So first thing is getting more active, right? Getting physical activity, getting blood supply to the brain, eating better, sleeping better, oxygen, right? Oxygen needs to get to that follicle so it doesn't die. As long as you don't got a strong genetic factor that you can do all of that and it still doesn't work.
And I think that's the biggest problem. But I've had a lot of people ask me about like that platelet-rich plasma.
It's beautiful.
Like injections, right? Like, is that something that you'd use? So if I had, for me, for example, am I a good candidate for something like that, or am I not helping as much because of my genetic predisposition?
The genetic predisposition,
yes,
especially for yours. I mean, yours is like there's different level of baldness. Yours goes all the way down to the behind your ears, like it's down to here. So,
but why does it sound so mean when you say it?
It's not mean. I'm just saying, like, your genetic factor is aggressive.
It's weird. Normally it doesn't bother me, but when you talk about it like that, it's kind of annoying.
I'm just messing with you guys. I'm balding. I'm gonna look like him too. Can you take it off? Because I want to see what I look like in the future. Okay. Where's the closest building? No, I'm just joking.
That's messed up. That's so messed up. That's so messed up. Okay.
Let's talk about stages, right? Let's go stage by stage. So you got somebody without the genetic factor that's starting to thin out, wants to go natural. We talked about exercise. We talked about diet. We talked about sleep. Biotin is great for it. The vitamins. And then people start with rosemary. People use lemon. They use all these kind of different things. But what I would start off is maybe talk to your physician first. Mm-hmm. But starting off with minoxidil and finasteride, or just starting out with minoxidil, what people like to call Rogaine, is a good thing because it also helps the follicle itself from dying. It helps it grow. And it's worked great for people. The problem with that is stopping it. It's expensive. So once you start it, you cannot just stop it. You just stop it, you're gonna lose your hair.
So if you start it, you start seeing some
let's say 2 years later, you've been doing it, and then you completely stop. All of a sudden, you're gonna start losing hair. Yeah. I don't care what anybody else says. Rogaine, minoxidil, it doesn't matter.
You stop.
There are things like Hims now where they actually combine. They weren't doing this before, where they're combining minoxidil and finasteride into one spray.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You do 4 sprays at night before you go to sleep, and you rub your hair, and it works wonderful. Obviously, it takes 6 months to see the results.
Yeah.
But that's great. So those are the steps to take. And then if you get to a point where minoxidil and finasteride stop working, then you do a hair transplant.
Yeah.
Hair transplants, the reason that people are going to overseas like Turkey, Spain is big, Colombia is huge, Mexico, the follicles implantation is so much cheaper than it is here. Whereas you're talking about each follicle in the United States, a lot of times is $5 per follicle.
Per follicle.
So and in the United States, they try to prevent you from doing more than 2,500 follicles, because listen, I get it. And I'll tell you why they restrict it. And it makes sense long term. If you put 10,000 follicles on top of your head and you don't have enough blood supply, in the beginning, the first year, second year, third year, it's going to grow, but eventually it's going to die.
It's going to die again.
Plus, you got to think about where are those follicles coming from, the back of your head.
Yeah.
Taking out 10,000 follicles from the back of your head, and some people, the scars don't leave.
Yeah.
So before we get to that, let's talk about the different types of transplant. You have FUT. You ever seen the people that take a whole strip from the back of the head and put it in the front? That's the FUT. Old school, people stop using it, but believe it or not, that's where the hair looks the thickest.
Yeah.
But again, you got a big scar in the back. You can tell right away who did it and who didn't, and it's really brutal. But if you are one of those people that did the FUT, I highly suggest doing something like SMP, where they do the little black dots, the tattoos, to cover that line in the back. It's working great. My friend Steve does it. It's amazing. SMP for that to cover the line is a great idea to do. So I would suggest if you have done the FUT and you have the scar, get an SMP procedure in the back and it covers it very well, or keep your hair long because you can't have it short. The next thing is FUE. FUE is the second thing that came out. FUE, what they basically do is they take a follicle, they rip it out, they put a hole in your head to implant it. Like imagine you're doing gardening, right? You dig, you put the seed in there and then you kind of wait for it to grow. Same thing. You put a hole in the head, you grab the follicle. First they take the follicles, lay them out, and then they start implanting them slowly.
Is that procedure painful?
Procedure, believe it or not, I believe it's not as painful as DHI. But the problem with that is that the ones that you're ripping out from the back, the hole is a little bit bigger, so you end up leaving these white dots in the back of your head, and people don't like those. Yeah. And I feel like the outcome isn't good as the newest thing, which is DHI. Yeah. DHI is basically a pen. The smallest pen that you can take, and the pen goes and it grabs the follicle and it directly, that's called direct hair implant, DHI, which directly implants into your scalp, and it has the best success rate.
But how does that success rate, I mean, if you're looking at patients who struggle with follicles and lack of blood supply, does that DHI work for them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But again, it goes back to the problem with people in Turkey. They go do 5,000, 10,000 follicles, and now they have scars in the back of their head, little dots all over, and they over implant. What I suggest to people to do is, obviously they're going to have to use a microscope, see where the follicles are. Are they completely dead? Where to implant it? And also how people do it. It's important. So you don't want to go to a ghetto place in Turkey or in Mexico and they do a terrible job, or they put a straight line in your head.
You don't want to do that.
But even with DHI, after you do the DHI, you still need to use minoxidil and finasteride to keep the follicles growing, because 5 years later you might lose all of them.
Yeah, for sure. No, that makes sense. So let's get to I get a lot of patients specifically, and talk about hair loss. I feel like I have women ask me more than men, because I feel like sometimes men are just kind of like, well, I'm bald, especially older men, they're just kind of used to it.
They give up.
But women, of course, they like their hair. They like their hair longer. And I think we need to talk about the different causes of hair loss in women, which is very common. And remember that typically the dermatologist is the good person to really talk to about this. As primary care doctors, we deal with it, but the dermatologists typically deal with it a lot more. But let's talk about some causes. I mean, I know there's a lot of endocrinology issues, like thyroid issues, right? Metabolism issues, nutritional issues, autoimmune diseases, lupus, right? Thyroid problems,
alopecia,
and there's so many different factors that play into role. I mean, typically we'll start just testing, right? We'll just have patients that come in and we'll just do some testing on them. Like the thyroid, I think, is probably the most common for us. I think we see a lot of thyroid
Simple
issues.
test, TSH.
Yeah, exactly, and kind of check for that. And then if we replace that thyroid, for example, if they are hypothyroid or whatnot, do you, in your case, see a lot of patients that improve with their hair loss?
Yeah. I think getting to the root cause of what the problem is, again, we talked about postpartum.
Yeah, of course. And that's another one. Yeah, for
thyroid,
sure. That's huge.
Autoimmune. I think if you have a hair loss problem, first you got to get to the root cause.
Yeah.
Figure out what the root cause is. If you've eliminated thyroid, autoimmune, alopecia, everything else, postpartum, every single cause that can cause hair loss, then it's just genetic factor, then that's a whole different case.
Yeah.
But if it's thyroid, you replace the thyroid. If it's autoimmune, you have to treat it with steroids, with other things that you need to do it.
Factors.
But getting to the root cause is very important.
So a lot of questions are asked stress, right? And I believe, yes, I think to the degree of stress can cause hair loss, but not just typical, regular living stress. I'm talking about a grieving process or filing for bankruptcy, divorce, etc. That can cause a lot of stress, and that can lead to some hair loss. Another question was about the hat, right?
Okay, so I don't think hat is directly causing the follicle. I mean, it can definitely speed up your hair loss process, but I don't think it's the main cause of it. Dandruff, I don't think it's the main cause of hair loss. People tend to jump to, multiple things that cause hair loss. But I think people need to understand a few things. One, showering your head with hot water, directly hot water on your scalp is horrible for you. Do not do that. You're killing the follicle. It's not the best way to do it. So shampoo, all these chemicals are terrible for it. Some things that people are jumping on right now is rosemary. It's beautiful. People are loving it. And biotin. Biotin is really good for your nails and hair.
That's huge.
But again, if you have a genetic factor, it's just not going to grow.
Well, I think people need to understand that it's normal, completely normal, to lose up to 100 hair follicles or hair cells, hair pieces daily.
People ask me that all the time, Doc, my hair, it's all over, the sink. Or
it's very normal, up to 100 a day, literally. And
which is a lot, man. That's a lot.
100, think about it, 100 pieces of hair. I mean, I don't get that much, but, so
you
that's
get zero.
That's funny. I shave it on purpose.
Honestly, look, if anybody were to look good bald, it would be you. I swear to God. You look great bald. Me, on the other hand, I would not look good bald. I have a football head. I have a big nose.
But I've never seen you bald, really.
It would be hideous.
Why would you
It would be hideous. I don't even know how my hair looks. We're doing this whole episode, and I don't even know how my hair looks.
No comment.
Okay. Golly, dude.
No comment.
Thank God we're not putting it above.
I know. Then you'll see the reflection. But anyway, I think so. That's good. I'm glad that we talked about this today, actually, because it's pretty important. I mean,
people are asking about it, what to do. I always say start out figuring out what the root cause is. Once you figure out what the root cause is, if it's all negative, then obviously it's a genetic factor. If it's a genetic factor and you're doing minoxidil, finasteride, rosemary, biotin, vitamin B12, vitamin D, you're doing everything and nothing's working, then look, guys, it's 2023. Times have changed.
Exactly.
These transplants, they work well. They work very well. I've had multiple people do very well. I have a cousin. He's a neurologist. He was fully bald, and he has a full set of hair. Full set of hair. An afro. He has a full afro, and that's pretty amazing.
Ask about the platelet-rich plasma, which is very good.
So that's really good specifically for people that have already had the transplants too. That's basically bringing more blood supply to the area that you need, so the follicle doesn't die. And that works excellent for a lot of things that you need.
Awesome. That's great, man.
Plasma is great in general.
I think this was a great topic.
Yes.
I had a lot of fun with it, and I know you're very passionate about it, so I'm glad that we discussed it today.
And what specialist? They always ask, what specialist?
Dermatology. The dermatologists are probably the best ones to ask.
For everybody that wants to figure out, what was the cause of your hair loss, what to do, what treatments, what have worked, what haven't worked. If you want to know more about transplants, if you want to know where to go for these transplants, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Send us a DM. I'm more than happy to help you guys out.
Perfect, man. Awesome. All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, man. See you guys later.
Take care.
Thank you, brother.